Hi, my name is Kathryn Blume. I am a writer, performer, and climate activist, and I wanted to express my solidarity with the students and faculty of Worcester Polytechnic who are opposing Exxon Mobil CEO Rex Tillerson as their graduation speaker. While I realize the remarkable Richard Heinberg has offered himself as an alternative to Mr. Tillerson, I thought maybe Mr. Heinberg could use a little bit of backup. And if you're all forced to listen to Mr. Tillerson, then perhaps having a number of alternative commencement addresses might, in the end, be a bit of a balm to the unanticipated controversy marking the end of your time at WPI. First off, I want to say keep up the good work. And don't be too troubled by whatever happens on commencement day. If you care about the future of this planet, if you care about shining the light of truth into the dark caverns of denial and dishonesty, if you care about figuring out how humanity can possibly live in health and wholeness on this tiny blue dot in the infinite blackness of the universe, then this is only one in a long line of battles that you're going to be fighting. Regardless of what happens right now, no matter who'll be offering up their droplets of wisdom come commencement day, you've already signed up to be holy warriors for the planet. You've already committed your passion and your spirit and your honor to tending the welfare of the world, to mending what's broken, and you'll be at it for the rest of your lives. So have patience, have perspective, and have vision. Have a vision of who you want to be, what role you want to play in this great epic. Because it is a great epic. It's the most rugged, robust, high-stakes story humanity has ever played out. And you, right now, in your struggle, are an integral part of the narrative. You're as mighty and archetypal a protagonist as Frodo Baggins or Harry Potter. And much like them, you didn't ask to be born in this time of overwhelming planetary peril. But born you were, and the voices of justice and responsibility singing carols in your soul demand that you step up. Demand that you take gigantic risk. They demand, without cease, that you act. They demand it because it's the only right thing to do. Now, as a theater artist, it's practically reflexive for me to fall into casting the heroes and villains in a story. And it seems all too easy to identify who's who in this particular tale. Rex Tillerson is an easy choice for a malevolent, snake-snouted Voldemort. But I'd like to caution against vilifying Mr. Tillerson, or for that matter, anyone in the WPI administration who may have invited or supported him. We cannot fall into an us versus them mentality. The world is too small, the climate crisis too acute, and the time too short to get divisive and combative. For one, it takes energy away from our work of visioning and creating a world that we really do want to live in. But more importantly, it causes us to lose our compassion. Yes, Mr. Tillerson is the CEO of a company which has helped ravage the planet while raking in astronomical profits. Yes, he's funded over 39 climate change denying organizations. Yes, he's a prominent member of an industry which has bought out the U.S. Congress and funded the slaughter of any useful federal climate legislation. But really, like the oil he peddles, he's a creature of the Jurassic, mired in an old paradigm, one of infinite growth, endless consumption, and of sacrificing everything we hold dear on the altar of maximum profit. It's a paradigm which is being depleted as rapidly as this planet's reserves of fossil fuel. And powerful as they seem, both man and paradigm, neither of them will last. Nor will the oil, for that matter. So we should not waste our energies on hate. Not to mention the fact that, like it or not, we are all products of this paradigm. Those of us born and raised in the developed world have grown up in a culture and economy utterly permeated with and completely dependent upon a cheap, abundant supply of fossil fuel. None of our lives, as they are now, would have been possible without what Mr. Tillerson is selling. And so, hard as Mr. Tillerson is fighting to keep his wealth, power, and crumbling worldview intact, we have to fight equally hard to extract ourselves from our fossil-fueled lives. We have to stare our economic systems, our expectations for our future, our very manner of existing on the planet in the face. We have to question everything. We have to re-examine what's necessary, what's preferable, and what's sustainable. and we have to make radical change as fast as we possibly can. Because humanity is facing a two-headed axe, Labrys, if you will, of climate change and peak oil. They're real, they're happening now, and there is no escaping the harsh, urgent truth that the planet's capacity to support us as we figure out what to do is rapidly unraveling. We have very little time. Not only that, but many modern thinkers will tell you that we, as a species, have lost any sense of future, that we have an expectation of landing sooner or later in some form of apocalyptic dystopia. And the way things are going, many people might say we'll be walking Cormac McCarthy's road much, much sooner than any of us expected. Well, that's one form the story can take. However, we also have something else. We have humanity's magnificent adaptability, ingenuity, and creativity. We have a great desire to survive and thrive and live beautiful, meaningful, purposeful lives. We have the quirky characteristic, as articulated by Jeff Bridges playing an alien in the movie Starman, that we are at our best when things are at their worst. We may have taken all that oil we found and totally messed up the planet, but we certainly didn't mean to. And think about what we managed to create. Airplanes and laptops and motorcycles and Lycra and the Hubble telescope and contact lenses and CDs and superglue. It's been a great party. Now we just have to take our infinitely creative capacities and harness them in service of a galactically massive, wildly challenging to imagine socio-economic, cultural, spiritual transformation. Sure, it's overwhelming, seemingly impossible. But as humans, doing the impossible seems to be our specialty. Fast as the clock is ticking, we're not dead yet. This planet is still an exquisitely beautiful place, and it's the only one we've got. It's utterly worth fighting for. Our lives are worth fighting for. Our love for the world and our love for each other are worth fighting for. So have more faith and courage and compassion than you can possibly measure. Don't be daunted by the task at hand. Don't even wonder if it's possible. Just go forth and heal the world. Don't let anyone or anything stand in your way. Be the crazily creative love warrior heroes of the story. In fact, you already are, and it's a beautiful thing to see.